Hey fur friends, Kayla here of Dox Design, and welcome back to our YouTube channel. You will always find me with a wiener dog on my lap, and today we're going to be talking about what exactly is brand identity. Now, a lot of people, when they hear the word brand, they immediately think that a brand is a logo, and that's because that's what we've been conditioned to ask for. When we think of McDonald's, we think of the golden arches. When we think of Tiffany & Co., we think of that blue color with their typeface typed out. That is what we think a brand is when we're coming to a designer asking them for help. But that's not quite what a brand identity is. And today we're going to dive into why brand identity is so important and give you guys a few examples. Now, one thing you will learn about me and Dox Design is we like to talk in metaphors. We like to bring this down so you guys are able to understand what we live and breathe every day, which is branding. Now, we like to say that we breathe life into businesses' mission and vision, and this is through the power of visual storytelling, which is essentially the essence of brand identity. It is the visual story that you are telling and putting out into the world so your customers will come, they will connect with you. What makes a brand identity so important is it's because it's strategic visual decisions that designers are making so that when your customers come across your social media, when they come across your website, when they get your packaging design, they are like, wow, this speaks to me. This was designed specifically for me. Like, I love this a brand. I want to follow it. I want to support it. And that's what I want for all of you guys watching for your brand to do. So I'm going to break this down into a couple metaphors for you. First and foremost, because we are huge coffee drinkers over here at Dox Design, I like to bring out the coffee example. Now, we have our gas station coffee, correct? This is a commodity. When we're on the go, it's something we need. It comes in a white styrofoam cup. We pay $1 for it because we need it at that point. That's a commodity. We don't want your business there. We don't want it to be a commodity. We want it to be able to be charging premium prices and have it be a lifestyle so clients and customers come back. So we move to Starbucks. Think about it. Starbucks puts that iconic green logo on their cup. They launch Christmas cups and people line up around the block for this coffee. Plus, they will pay upwards to $3, $4 for it. Obviously, that's about double of what the gas station coffee is, and that is because of the brand that Starbucks has created. They have made their stores feel a certain way. They've made their colors, their packaging, their imagery, their advertisements, their copy, all a certain way to make you feel a certain story of who they are as a brand. But I want to take it a step further. Think about your local coffee shop, your favorite coffee shop that maybe you go to that isn't a chain. And they can charge up to $6, $8 for a cup of coffee. We have one that's right down the street from us called the Drip House. Their branding is beautiful. Their cups have funky little sayings on them. And by them taking it a step further, people actually will even post pictures of the coffee cup and tag them in it, which gives them more customers. Those coffee shops sell merch. They sell mugs. And because they have created such this brand that people love and want to follow, people will buy their shirts, they'll wear it, they support the brand, they share it. And that is the level that we want to get your brand identity to. We don't want to be a commodity. Starbucks is a good middle spot, but we want to take it all the way to that local coffee shop model of being a brand that people will wear a shirt of being a brand that people will post on Instagram and share with their friends and get you more customers and more sales, making you a premium brand. So you're like, this is great. Brand identity. How do we do this? Well, I like to start with this. What do people say when you leave the room? I want you to think of your brand as a person, as a personality, essentially. When that brand is interacting with your customers, when that brand is putting out information on social media, when that brand is creating a storefront and you leave, what are people saying about you? What is the lasting impression and the lasting impact that you are leaving with your brand? And that is what brand identity is. And that's really what we want to focus on. Yes, picking the colors, the fonts, the logo is what we specialize in and is the fun part. But if you go there and you stick the steps of creating the foundation, your visuals will fall flat. So we really want to focus on the foundation of your brand identity and who you are, what your story is, and how we can visually tell it. So I want all of you guys to start thinking about What is that like one sentence or two sentence you want your customers to say when you leave the room? And I want you guys to dig a little bit deeper, saying, great customer service. Yes, everyone should have great customer service. That's almost the commodity aspect. But what is something special that you bring to the table? Because there's only one you, and there's a reason that you started your business. There is a reason you put your blood, sweat, and tears into it every single day. And there is something special in your heart that brought you this vision. And we want to take that and visually show it so that when your customers see your brand, they get it right away. We want to tell that story. So think back into when you started your business. What was the problem you were trying to solve? What was the motivation behind starting that business? Write that down, start to do lists, start to do a brain dump, and I'm sure you will see some emerging themes. For us at Dox Design, I started our design agency because I wanted to stay at home with my dogs. So if you can't tell, we are huge dog people. That's a huge part of our brand that we incorporate. And that's because that was one of the reasons I started my business, and something that was so important to me, something that's part of my personality, and something that I can talk about while being authentic. That's really important with your brand. We don't want to kind of like force yourself into something that doesn't feel right or doesn't feel comfortable for you. We want you to feel authentic because your customers can tell the second you're not being authentic. So it's really important that you're thinking deeply, thinking back to the start of why you started your brand. Write down those lists, start to get some emerging themes, and then lean into it. In the next couple videos, we're going to be talking a little bit about how you can actually start to pick the visuals of your brand once you actually have the baseline of who you are. But I want to challenge all of you watching this story, before you start looking for designers to create a logo, before you start picking some color palettes, think about your story. What is that story you want to tell? What is that lasting impact you want to make? What is that thing you want your customers or the people in the room to say when you leave it? That is your brand, fur friends. That is what we're going to be focusing on, and that is the important part. Again, back to the coffee example. We want you guys to be over here. We want you guys to be that brand that you can pivot into products if you're a service provider, or if you're a product, you can pivot into service and coaching. You want to be able to open up multiple revenue streams, and having a brand allows you to do that. So let's focus on creating that brand identity, and how we can do that is going back to the start, writing down why we started our brand, figuring out what makes you special, what's your unique why, what is you, why you started this business, and then visually showing it. Let's get to work, fur friends.